Sports.
Enjoy the silence.
Flag on the play if you're not subscribed to Von Allen Sports. But once you are, we'll make it up to your team in the fourth quarter. You're watching Von Allen Sports, real and honest NFL analysis. Subscribe now and join the empire. Von Allen Sports, let's go.
If you're not watching Von Allen Sports, fuck you.
Von Allen Sports. Von Allen Sports.
Von Allen Sports on Patreon. Fuck you. I'm joining.
Von Allen Sports.
Okay. How you guys doing? What's up? All right. So, big night tonight. We've got the finals of the tournament. Can you believe it's already week 12? This is insane. We're going to, before I start going into anything that's, part of the bulk of the show, we're just going to wait just a second because just let time go by like we normally do. But in the intro, I want to say, John Thomas Chavez, are you here tonight? Yeah, you are. Okay, so let's see. Elp is here. Biox, blah, blah, is here. Still can't pronounce your name. Bitcoin John. Austin Thomas, what's up, man? Nice to see you. Blind Assassin, which is Anthony. Justin Shettelet is here. I got that right, I think. So, I just want to tell you guys, Alpha Courage and John Thomas Chavez are in the finals. So congratulations, you guys. Alpha Courage is back again. He was in the finals last year and won the whole thing. It was last year. It was him and the Gourd King. So Alpha Courage is looking to go back to back. Right off the top, Elf, I can tell you that if you, in the event that you win, you can pick something else of the same value to the Xbox where we get the Xbox. So, and we can get you something else if you want to do that, or we can just get you another Xbox and you can do what you want to with it. It's up to you, but because you are the previous winner, me and Marlena discussed it. We were like, yeah, just it's fine if you want to do that. John, as far as John, so since they're both here, since John and Elf are here, I want to let you guys know that I'm throwing a curveball your way tonight. I am not going to be rolling the dice for your statistic. Actually, the statistic for the Super Bowl this week is going to be touchdown to interception ratio, meaning that when I take your touchdowns, not interceptions, sorry, turnovers. So when I take your quarterback's touchdowns and I take his turnovers and I subtract his turnovers from his touchdowns, whatever you have remaining is your number. And if it's better than the other guys. Now, in the event that you guys tie, the tie protocol, the normal standard tie protocols will go into place. So it would then jump to yards, and then it would jump to completions. I'm sorry. Rewind that. It would first go to who won, which quarterback won or lost. Then it would go to yards, then it would go to completions, and that would be the protocol there. So I'm going to give you guys the entire show. So you have until the entire show to tell me who your quarterback is. If you want to think about it or if you've already got it in mind. It shouldn't be that much different than a quarterback you selected for your touchdowns. Usually a quarterback's good for touchdowns. Probably not going to throw a bunch of picks either. So, or fumble or anything like that. So Just letting you know, just to make it much more interesting. Because I wanted to avoid a situation where the Super Bowl is about completions. Like that, what if I rolled a 4? I mean, that would be so boring. That would be horrible to have a Super Bowl like that. So let's just do it. I think touchdown turnover ratio is more than fair. If you're going to win it, you got to win it with a quarterback that had a good game. And I think that's what's important. So let's do it. Okay. So yeah, so you guys let me know when you've got a quarterback. And like I said, you don't have to pick right now. Okay, you have till the end of the show. So if by the end of the show, if you've given me a quarterback, and I'll take them. I'll take them anytime. If you got them now, go for it. So actually, right now is perfect if you can. I was just going to give you time to maybe think about if you wanted to think about it. If you want to do it now, that's perfect because we're still waiting on people to get on. Remember, I have a rule. I also promised Milena. I'm not allowed to drink my soda until I finish an entire bottle of water. So I haven't finished it yet. Crap. All done. All right. Bring on the Coke. Let's go. Stafford. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. All right. So, Elf of Courage, you are going with Stafford. Good choice. I got it. I like it. I like it for this week. Nice job. Let's see here. Yeah. Arizona. Yeah, that's a good pick, man. Okay, John. You let me know. You're in no hurry at all. So you're good. So this is gonna be a fun one. This is gonna be good. So also forgot to give you guys the link for the Rumble. Let me get that real quick. See what happens when Milena's not around. I screw it all up. All right. Okay, here we go. Okay, so that's the link to Rumble. And on Rumble you can do super chats. So, oh, she's here. Hey, she's here. Cool. I know she had a busy day today. So with her mom. So, all right. Who else showed up since then? Luke, what's up, man? The Minuteman. Also, Israel. We never found out what happened with Israel last week. Something weird with his account. If he's back tonight, I need to give him back his wrench if his account is working again. You guys remember last week? It was kind of weird, like something weird was happening with that. It was really strange. Nightwalker, Deutschland. Okay. Yeah. Last week, Israel's account was just like deleting people's stuff and censoring or something. It was just weird. Like Bitcoin had to go in there and undo it all. So it was very strange. All right. And also, I don't know if you guys use it or not, but I wanted to tell y'all that the show, I'm in the process of uploading the show weekly on Apple iTunes podcast. So if you, what the crap? What? I have a Retina screen. I can see everything. I can see perfectly. And everything, every little detail bothers me. No, I don't have ADD or anything like that, or OCD or whatever the hell they call it. I just like things to be perfect. So, and they're not, it bothers me. Okay. So, there is a yeah, this is ridiculous. Okay. Tyree, what's up, man? Yeah. I'll be right back. Boom. So, how was y'all's Thanksgiving? Everybody have fun? Was it good? Good? I hope so. The games kind of sucked, didn't they? The Lions, man. The Lions were 8-2 going into that game. First time they've been 8-2 since the 1950s or 1960s, something stupid like that. And they couldn't even, with that kind of record, they couldn't beat a very beatable Green Bay team. It's utterly pathetic. I don't know. I think they're just cursed. It's the Bobby Lane curse. It's got to be. Yeah, it's. Even when they're good, they can't win on Thanksgiving. It's unbelievable, man. It's absolutely pathetic. Whoever scheduled the Cowboys with the Washington Masturbators or Washington Condom or Commandos or whatever the hell you want to call them, the Washington Eyes Wide Shut party attendees, those fucks. Yeah, that was stupid. That was going to always be a blowout. And the night game was kind of weak. I was expecting more out of Seattle. That wasn't what I was hoping for. I was hoping for a really good game. I wrote my friend Z and told him, it's like, well, tonight's going to be a good game probably at least. And not really. I mean, nothing really happened that was good. So, okay. So I don't know if you guys watch a show called Speak on FS1. it used to be a show. Well, I consider it Joy Taylor's show, but there is a guy there on there called Acho, and not the brother. His brother is a pretty good player. I think this one, not so much. I think, I'm not sure. One or the other. I don't know. I think his brother is the good one, but the one on the show. I don't know if you guys watch the show or not, but that guy, I honestly believe that when that guy's banging his wife, he's watching himself in the mirror. All right? I have never seen a guy more ridiculous and pathetic in trying to be so over the top, articulate and smart and all this shit. He's trying so hard, trying to be the man, and he's the worst part of that show. It's absolutely obnoxious, and it's like, why does every show have one of these guys that you just want to punch in the fucking face? Seriously. I mean, can't we just have a show where there's just one person on that you don't want to just fucking punch in the throat? Just throat punch, fucking throat stab. All right? I'd love to fucking throat stab him. But every show's got this. Skip's show's got that fat fuck, Keyshawn Johnson. Love to just, I'd kick him in the balls, but I don't think he has any. And then there's those other shows on Fox with the big nose, broken nose, fuckface, Nick Wrong. I can't even watch that. I can't remember. Actually, it might have been 2 years, maybe 3 years since I've watched Nick Wright say anything or on a show. I've never even clicked on it. I cannot listen to him talk. I cannot. It's like Rob Parker. I can't remember the last time I've heard Rob Parker speak. But every one of these shows, I'd prefer that show just to be Joy and LaShawn McCoy. I think that would be perfect. That would be good. Even though I know Joy's can be annoying sometimes when she mentions to everybody that she's got a PhD or a master's or I don't know, something like that. She's always got to remind everybody that she's got that. That's a little annoying. But other than that, she's usually knows what she's talking about. Oh, we have some super chats from Rumble. Let me grab those real quick. Awesome. Thank you, guys. I tell you, you can get a lot more quality stuff, honestly, from indie channels like this one than you can the big ones. It used to not be like that. The big ones, they used to have people on these shows that had information. They don't have any good information any more than we get. They don't have any inside info, and they certainly won't tell you how they really feel. Like it's scripted. They have what they're told and everything. It's really lame. But okay, our first super chat of the night from Rumble. All right, it's 146 Zigzag. He says, since a $5 super chat, thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. He says, I think people need to accept that Bill Belichick has just aged out. Of the 29 coaches in the Hall of Fame, on average, they coached at 54. Bill is 17 years older than that. Being good at 70 plus for a coach is rare. Yeah, well, yeah, there's so many things about that, Zigzag. So let me, and I'll adjust that real quick. Let me just put this up. As usual, Nefertiti sends $12 for number 12, Tom Brady. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Melina. So the thing about Zigzag's super chat here. So all the other coaches generally were pretty successful when they were younger. Belichick was going on his second stint as a head coach before he even won his first Super Bowl. And also that dynasty, let's say the Patriots dynasty, should have only that time frame should have only been about 10 years. Okay, that was basically the run for that, and then just usually nature takes its course, and not just age wise, but just the way the game works and the way the game changes, and you're not that guy anymore. Okay, this happened to a lot of coaches. Jimmy Johnson didn't even last a couple of years, and then he was out. Well, he lasted more than a couple of years, but I mean, a couple of years where they were on top, and then he left. But then you've got Bill Walsh, who they were great all through the 80s, but then he's out. As soon as '88 was his last season. So it's strange. It's rare to have a Marv Levy who coached the Buffalo Bills into his 70s. I get it. I get why he was doing that. They just kept. He wanted to. They lost 4 straight Super Bowls, and he just. I get wanting to try over and over and over again. But the Belichick thing is so weird and so strange because, like you said, the 17 years older than the average age. It's because nobody expected Tom Brady to be great for 2 decades. And he had the greatest player that's ever lived. So that's the greatest player that's ever lived who also played 20 years. The problem Bill has now is that he should have checked out, probably. Knowing what we know now, 2020, when Tom left, he probably should have said, okay, I'm gone. I'm out. This is a good time for me to leave. Even then, he would have been way over the limit like you're talking about. But now he's chasing, it's his ego. And I don't necessarily fault anybody for doing that. I don't think there's anything wrong at all with wanting to pass up Don Shula for the most wins of all time. But if I were Belichick, if I wanted to get those things, I would get rid of my ego and bring in somebody who could pick players. I'd bring in a general manager, just, somebody I can get along with, somebody who I like, but is picking the players for us. And that would be the best scenario for him. But his ego is so big that it's funny. His ego is actually doing him a disservice to his ego, if that makes any sense. So his ego to control things is actually harming his ego to want to beat Don Shula, because one is canceling the other. Because he cannot see that he is a terrible GM, and because he cannot give up control, he cannot see that that's affecting the coach, Bill Belichick, and wanting to accomplish those other things, which is also ego, but not as bad. Okay, I don't mind a guy having an ego, wanting to win championships, wanting to win more and more. As long as you're winning, I don't have a problem with that at all. The problem with Bill is that he's chasing this while losing. You're not winning. Like if he was winning, they're winning games and they had a positive record right now, then I would say, yeah, he's on his way, he's getting it. That's cool, fine. But you're not doing that. You're 2-8, dude. So it means nothing. It's pointless. So that's it, and it's not going anywhere. It doesn't look like. I mean, even if they get a good draft pick, what's he going to do? He's going to piss it away probably. I mean, he's shown that he can't draft. So bring in a different general manager, and I think the Patriots could play well. I think he can coach. I do. I think he can coach, but you've got to have good players. Bill Belichick has admitted this. He said it himself. He said good players can't overcome bad coaching. Well, what about bad players trying to overcome playing with other bad players? That's really what's happening when you've got a bad GM. So, I don't know. But then you've got coaching mistakes, coaching errors that he's made, like making Matt Patricia the offensive coordinator last year, and Joe Judge. Apparently, they were kind of governing that together. You gave your second-year quarterback, who was supposed to be on in this process. You gave him that. You gave him that, really, like you didn't go out and find a stable offensive coordinator that you could keep for years. You didn't do that. You went with your ego and thought that would work, and you ruined him. Mac Jones, it's finished. It's done. And even Bill O'Brien can't save him. It's just his head is, and Mac can't handle Bill O'Brien. Okay, I thought he might be able to, but he can't. Okay, it takes a special type of personality to handle Bill O'Brien. Bill O'Brien is a very hardcore guy, very, very intense dude. All right, he's a good coordinator. We know he is. We've seen his plays. We've seen his play calling. We know he's got what it takes, but the players suck. Okay, the players are bad, and I just, yeah. See, that's a coaching decision right there. So it's a screwed up situation. But as we've seen with any sport, when one thing is bad, it triggers something else to be bad, and then the things that you're supposed to be good at and the things that you're usually good at, even those things don't work because everything is out of sync. Wow, we have a $20 super chat from Elf of Courage. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, Elf. He sends $20 super chat and says, if I win back-to-back, I'll be the first inductee in the Von Allen Sports Hall of Fame. Let's go, baby. Let's go. You going to go back-to-back? As Elf of Courage, are you looking to be the Tom Brady of Von Allen Sports contest? Is that what you're trying to do here? Are you trying to create a dynasty? John Thomas Chavez says, I guess that means I'm looking to be the Eli Manning of Von Allen Sports Contest. Well, if you want to look at it like that, how about we say that you're looking to be the Nick Foles? You're hoping that Elf of Courage, Bill Belichick that's in his mind is going to screw something up there. So maybe you could go that far. I don't want to call you Eli Manning. Yeah. Blind Assassin says, if Elf of Courage wins, it will be January 6th. Outside of Von Allen's apartment. Yeah. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Hey, guys, can you click the like button? There's 21 of you watching. Thank you so much. And if you're new here, please subscribe. Subscribe. You know, if you're watching this on playback, every time I say subscribe, I think the little subscribe button does a little celebration thingy or something. So subscribe. Okay. Yeah. Elf of Courage will be blamed for a football insurrection. The removal of the dislike button is the stupidest thing I've ever. I'm referring to some random Patriots fan. So the dislike button actually tells you if a video is bullshit or clickbait or whatever. So now if you click on clickbait, if you see the ratio is bad, you know you don't have to watch it. You can click out of it. Now, with not having that, clickbait has actually gotten worse. It's all the time now. People, just say whatever they want in the title and they get you. And then after 5 minutes watch the video, you figure out that this is nonsense or whatever, and you wasted your time. The dislike button was removed after Biden became president. So it was all based off that. And every official White House or government administration video with him, all the official things, the ratio was so awful. It was so bad that they had to get rid of it because they had to cover up the fact that, hey, Biden's popular and he won the election. So they had to cover that. So they had to get rid of the dislike button. And they're not going to go back to that anytime soon, or why would they? Because now They can say, well, people getting their feelings hurt and all that stuff. Well, that doesn't make any sense. But that's what they said. But we all know what happened. That was an exact result of that situation. So that's why they got rid of it. So there you go. It was that was the ratio problem they were having. I don't know if you guys remember that or not, but it was a big situation. It was a big deal, and it was very obvious that was going on. So. John Thomas Chavez is going for Lamar Jackson. Okay, let's put that in there real quick. Let's go, baby. Let's go. I like it. Nice pick. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this final. It's going to be good. Elva Curry says, if it motivates the Empire to try to win, I'll gladly be the villain. There you go, man. Hey, it's fun being the villain. I miss Patriots being referred to as the evil Empire. I miss being feared like that. It was fun. But YouTube also slurps the Daily Wire. Of course they do. Of course they do. Why wouldn't they? That's Ben Shapiro's group. Daily Wire is establishment all the way. They're controlled opposition. Their job is to, toe the Bush-Cheney kind of thinking process there. So of course they are. The Ben Shapiro, he's never gets in trouble. They never have any problems. So yeah, that's true. It's not just Biden. No, what do you mean? That has nothing to do with what I said. I'm talking about the dislike button. The dislike button was removed because of Joe Biden. Not because he asked for it, but because of the ratio. Right after the election, all of his videos for several weeks in a row, it was horrible. The ratio was pathetic. It was absolutely bad. And then all of a sudden, YouTube says, we're going to remove that, and got rid of it. Now we can't see those ratios anymore. That was a reaction to that. So, if Bill is the evil emperor, then he's Palpatine from Rise of Skywalker, not Revenge of the Sith. Rise of Skywalker, that's one of the new ones. That's one of the crappy ones, right? I don't know. Oh, blah, blah, blah. No, some random Patriots fan. I don't know what you guys are talking about exactly, or if you're still talking about that. But, Luke R is right about you, though. You do change your views depending on what's being said. So, I remember you in the past. Actually, you were on my election show, and your views were completely opposite, and then they changed for some reason. And then they like bounced, and then you kind of changed so you are playing this kind of contrarian thing on purpose. It's pretty obvious, actually. So yeah, Luke is spot on here. You just like to have fun. You like to troll. I don't think you actually have a position, or if you do, who knows what it is. So, although I suspect that you're very young, actually. I don't know who you are personally, but I suspect that you are very young. That's generally That's generally the way a very young person would act and how they would respond, especially with how rude you were in the past to Milena's video, which you were absolutely wrong on everything you said. But yeah, I figured that. So yeah. Okay. What the hell? A bunch of banging. Okay, so let's go back to last week. Well, actually, I just want to say real quick, the Patriots are looking to not lose for the second straight week. Do you understand that? So the Patriots are looking to not lose for the second straight week. Do you guys think they can do that? Do you guys think they can not lose to the Giants? And that would be a not losing streak of 2 weeks. Do you think that's possible? Just let me know. Okay? So, there you go. John Thomas Chavez says, Israel said that he won't be able to make the stream tonight, but that him banning that guy last week was a complete accident as his phone was in his pocket during the live stream. That would make sense. Okay, cool. Yeah, okay, cool. So when he comes back, I'll make sure he gets his wrench back. Austin Thomas says, I want to lose at this point. Austin, you're in Tampa Bay, right? I think. You live in Tampa Bay, don't you? And you're a Bucks fan as well. Is that correct? Or are you a Patriots fan who happens to live in Tampa Bay? I can't remember exactly. Yeah, I just remember because you were going to games and stuff last year. Yeah. Okay. So, you're both Pats and Bucks fans since '99. Cool. Good. So you've seen a lot of winning then. That's nice. So you've seen 7 Super Bowls. You've seen 6 from the Patriots and 2 from Tampa. That's pretty cool. Yeah. So the Patriots didn't lose on the bye week last week. So now if they can beat the Giants, that's 2 weeks in a row. Well, I don't know. Maybe they did lose on the bye week. Well, at least they didn't have a game, so they couldn't have lost. But that's always good. But so we go back to Monday night, and I don't know if you guys have picked up on this, if you've been watching the shows and stuff, but something eerily strange about how history repeats itself. But the reactions are a little different. They're strange. So there's a lot of excuse making for the Chiefs, right? And honestly, the Eagles-Chiefs Monday night game, I loved it. It was a good game. But the weather could have been better for a game of such importance. Like, it's a Super Bowl rematch, right? But now, everybody all week has been saying that Patrick Mahomes needs more weapons, he needs more help and all this stuff. Doesn't that sound familiar to you? Doesn't that sound like the Aaron Rodgers needs more help? And then remember they would say that about Peyton sometimes when in a weird year when they had injuries or whatever. So what the hell, man? Okay, so they never ever give attention to other quarterbacks who are not who they have pegged as the guy, right? I'm not going to sit here and go all crazy about that Eagles-Chiefs game, who won, who lost. Okay, the game was kind of, like I said, it was sloppy conditions, so it doesn't really tell us who's better exactly. Really, what we'd have to go by is how they played all year against their, in the type of competition they've defeated. In that sense, I would say the Eagles are better. But that one game doesn't make me think, that they're so much better than the Chiefs or whatever. I don't think that achieved that, okay? But what I do think about this season is that I think the Eagles in the follow-up season are acting like the Super Bowl champions, and the Chiefs look like the Super Bowl losers. That's one thing that I see here. And that mentality is everything. It's sometimes when you win a Super Bowl, you kind of rest on who you are and you start feeling yourself and everything, and you think that you can do whatever you want. But this is the thing I've talked about so much, is that once you've won a lot, now they've won 2, and they're trying to win 3, and if they get a third one this year, they'll be a dynasty. And they'll be the first dynasty since the Patriots, and which, funnily enough, that wasn't that long ago. It seems like it should be, but it wasn't. The Chiefs are all of a sudden finding out what happens when the rest of the league no longer is afraid of you or thinks that they can't defeat you. The Chiefs did one thing right, or one thing that I thought that they needed, which was start focusing on defense. And the defense had kind of been their kind of weird area where they would have to the offense would have to outscore the defense constantly, and that was really the game that they had to play, which is fine. It worked in 2019. It worked for them in 2022 last year, although the defense even then was better than it was, in the past before that. But now, all of a sudden, because they've got a good defense, it's like the offense can't get their shit together. And people are talking about bringing in Patrick Mahomes. Like, he needed better players. He needed better receivers and stuff. Okay. This is why I keep talking about this, and I get into arguments with Chiefs fans on Twitter and stuff like that. Or X, sorry. You think it's easy to win. You think it's easy because you're the quote-unquote best team in the league, and you quote-unquote have the best quarterback in the league, you think that automatically means that it's just yours to win. And because they saw that Tom won 7, then they automatically, and they think in their mind, okay, they're thinking, well, our coach is better than Patriots coach, and our quarterback is better than Tom Brady, so we should win. Like, they believe that. They even believe that Kelsey's better than Gronk. Okay, so they automatically think that it's theirs, and that's it. That's the deal. And now they're starting to have a realization that, wait a minute, people are onto us. People are realizing what's going on. Now, it wasn't just that people didn't know what they were doing. People did know, but sometimes it takes a few seasons for other teams to build a roster around that to stop that. So people knew. It's not like it's some secret. It's not like so I want to make sure that I'm clear here. It's not some kind of secret of what they were doing all these years. Everybody knew what they were doing. But it's not just about that. It's about having the type of personnel on your team, on their roster, that can do that, can stop it and actually do something about it. Well, a few seasons have gone by, people catch up. If you remember, every dynasty has the thing that they're good at and what they do. Then the league kind of starts mimicking it. So you've got 2 different types of teams that will do this. You'll have a team that builds a unit that can stop you, or they build a unit that is like you, that mimics you. So if they mimic you, then they can score just as much as you can. Or if they're built to stop you, they can cause you a problem, and then you have to win low-scoring games. And that's what happens over time. So the longer you're good, the more difficult it's going to become. This happened to the Patriots, and we're not even including, I'm not even talking about, which also is a factor, which is player change, injuries, aging, all these different things, right? coaches being taken away, assistants being taken away. Although in the Chiefs, that case really isn't that big of a deal, but that's what they're running into. And I remember in 2004 when we won the third one, and I thought this is eventually going to run out. Like this is not always going to be this way. And then in 2005, I remember throughout that season I was a bit concerned. I was like, I don't know. Other teams were starting to look like us. They were starting to. You had the ones that were kind of going with that style, and then you had the other ones that were the exact opposite, which were offensive driven so much that the defense eventually is not going to be able to stop them. And honestly, I didn't expect to lose to the Broncos in the divisional, but it was going to catch up with us probably against the Steelers in the AFC Championship game, had they beaten the Broncos anyway. So that was kind of closing in. And then you had that was the year of it was either 2005 or 2006 where the coverage rules changed and favored the Colts style of playing. And then that was the thing that just eliminated that Patriots group. Like they were just kind of finished after that. So that style I'm talking about. Again, I'm referring to the way they played football. Now the league had changed. What worked before no longer works. All the wisdom they had before about what they did and the patterns and the type of players they had no longer really was the thing that they could rely on. So what they have to do, they had to change. So the Patriots became about the offense, and it became about Brady throwing the football. It became about putting up points on the board like crazy. So everything switched, right? So they changed, and then now the league has to catch up again, and it has to change again. And that's the Chiefs are in that time frame. They're in that gap, that part of the Patriots dynasty, like the 2004, 2005, 2006 time frame. That's where they're getting to. And I don't know if Patrick Mahomes and those guys are the right guys that can make that switch. So they're going, as where Patrick and those guys started out as the great offense and no defense, and the Patriots started out with great defense and the offense just, had to not fuck up basically. Then you've got this. So the Chiefs now have to go to the other side of that, which is great defense and playing efficiently on offense. And we'll see. We'll see if they can do that. But their defense is playing much better, but their offense now can't get the job done. It's not easy, man. I cannot stand people who just think that this is so simple that you just it's automatically yours. The mindset, I tell you what, man, Tom Brady and the Super Bowls they won and all that has really, really messed people's minds up on how they view winning and how they view the competition. And they just think that it's a rite of passage. By the way, that game against the Eagles, at the end, so everyone was talking about how the dude dropped the what was his name? Watson or something like that. He dropped the pass in the end zone. Was that his name? I can't remember. But he dropped a pass in the end zone that would have been the go-ahead touchdown, of course. Although the Eagles did have enough time and timeouts to come back, so that doesn't necessarily mean that was the winner, the game winner. But even that was supported by a roughing the passer call, which I'm not sure on. I'm a little iffy. I think it wasn't that late. It wasn't that after the whistle. I think it was kind of a timing play, and he just pushed him down. Big deal. I mean that's he didn't land his body on him or anything like that or all that other bullshit that they come up with, but he just shut them down. So I think that was fair enough right there. there is levels to needing extra play or needing better players. Okay, there's the kind of guy that's surrounded by just complete and utter trash. Then there's the quarterback that is surrounded by mediocrity. And then there's the guy that's surrounded by just weapons everywhere. Right now, Mahomes is surrounded by mediocrity for the most part. So these guys are just not what you would... So he's not surrounded by trash. Now, we've seen trash. We've seen it before. We've seen Tom Brady surrounded by trash. And it's not... I don't care who you are, you're going to struggle. You're going to have time if players cannot catch, if they cannot run routes, if they cannot get separation. You're not going to be able to get anywhere. It just doesn't matter. If they don't understand the playbook. 2019 was one of the most obvious times where a quarterback was surrounded by trash. Patrick right now is not surrounded by trash. He's surrounded by mediocrity. And with mediocrity, you can win some games, especially if you are great at what you do. If you're a great quarterback, if you're a great head coach, you can squeeze some wins out. And that's exactly what the Chiefs are doing. Tom has had worse than this, worse than what Patrick has, and has done more, and had good records, had gone far in the playoffs and all this stuff. So this is not an excuse, but I don't think it's the end of the world. Everyone's saying, a lot of people are like, oh, he needs weapons, he needs all this stuff. I'm like, well, isn't this how it works, though? It's like injuries. Every year, oh, someone's injured. If he had this guy, okay, well, injuries happen. Everybody has injuries. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you're lucky. Sometimes you don't have to deal with that. Honestly, the Chiefs have been blessed with not having the injury bug too much. All their most important pieces generally are there when they need them, and so that hasn't even hit them yet. Imagine if the injury bug was hitting them and they had the mediocrity around them. So I don't think it's that big of a deal yet. You're just, the Chiefs fans and everybody else is just seeing how this works. This is how the thing plays out. And you got to deal with it as it comes along. If you're the best quarterback in the league, if you're the best coach in the league and you're the best team in the league, year in and year out, you have to be able to do these things. But it's clear that the Eagles are better. And they're just playing better, and they've got better guys. So that's just what's happening right now. But it's still a regular season. We'll find out. And like I said, I would not want to be a team that played the Chiefs in the playoffs in a close game at all. So when everything's on the line, I would not want to be that. I would not want to be that team that has to do that. You better blow them out. You better do something like 2020 Bucks style shit right there if you want to make sure that there's no... This is like a boxing match where or a UFC fight where you're fighting in that guy's home country and he's the champion. If you leave it up to the judges, you're fucked. You're not going to win. Like it's done. It's finished. So you better knock them out, basically. And, we'll see. One thing I noticed in that game also, and I was yelling at the screen, but Milena was watching with me, and I said, how the fuck did he not know? I mean, there were times where he wouldn't see the blitz coming, and I would call it out just by that formation, and in front of Milena, be like, what the fuck? And she asked me, she's like, how do you know that? She kept asking me, how did I know what the defense was going to do, what was out there? And Patrick didn't. I said, well, because it's not a hard thing to know. Well, first of all, I'm watching it on television. I got a good view of everything that's happening, but a lot of football fans can do that. It's not witchcraft or something. But the problem with Patrick is he's not seeing things well. He's not seeing the field well from his perspective, which you think he should be able to, but he can't read defenses. And all this time, he cannot read defenses. He came into the league. He came into the league with a perfect situation, the best situation that any great quarterback, not any quarterback, but any great quarterback that we consider Hall of Fame worthy, or that's going to be in the Hall of Fame, nobody has come into a better situation than Patrick Mahomes did. And while that has success, also can hinder your learning process. Think about it. When Tom came in, he had to learn everything about that stuff because that was his way of surviving. There wasn't Tyreek Hill out there. There wasn't Travis Kelce out there to throw to. There wasn't Kareem Hunt running the ball for you and also catching the ball. You had to learn this. But Patrick slid right into a team that was already bombing the ball, that was making big plays, that had great offensive weapons everywhere, that Alex Smith was year in and year out, Alex Smith was doing well with. He's never had to do this. He's never had to. So he just always relied on his arm. And I told you guys this, that it would catch up. Eventually, he's going to have to switch. He's going to have to become the cerebral quarterback on the field and knowing what the defense is going to do and be willing to take the check down, okay? People used to make fun of Alex Smith all the time. Oh, check down Alex, check down Alex. Every time someone said check down Alex, that would let me know that they didn't know anything about football because they were saying it as an insult. Well, let me tell you something. Check down Alex would have won a lot of games. A lot of important games, I think, that Patrick has lost, that I've seen Patrick lose. And I'm not saying Alex is better than Patrick, okay? I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that there's something to be said for checkdowns. There's something to be said for knowing what you're looking at as a quarterback. There's something to be said for understanding what's coming and what they're trying to do to you. There's something to be said about knowing your third and fourth and fifth read instead of having to run around like an idiot. That running around costed you in the Super Bowl in 2020. Now, in that particular game, okay, I'm saying that game. I'm not talking about the season. I'm not talking about all time, okay? I'm saying in that Super Bowl, let's say that Alex Smith was the backup of that game. They went to the Super Bowl and Patrick got hurt in practice or something happened to him or his wife threw a brick at his head. Or something like that. That sounds believable. And he couldn't play. That game is not the wipeout that it was. The Bucs would still win, I have no doubt. But the game is closer. I think the Chiefs put up probably about 20 points, and the Bucs are forced to score even more. Because if you notice, the Bucs pulled their foot off the pedal and tried to just be conservative and kind of just run it out. So they didn't push the way they did. But if Alex was the quarterback, that game would have been a bit different. And that was because as the game went on, it became obvious that the Bucs were not going to allow all of the typical Mahomes, Chiefs, bombing it, doing all this shit, right? They weren't going to allow that to happen, and they weren't tricked. They weren't, deceived by all the running around bullshit and all that stuff. They just had their number. That was a moment where Patrick needed to shift to a different type of quarterback, where you just take what the defense is going to give you. Listen, every defense gives you something. They can't be everywhere at all times. There's always something that they leave behind. Okay? So they're either the secondary is playing so well and they're getting to you, but there's always going to be a gap. There's always going to be one thing that you can get to. Now, a quarterback that can read a defense and understands their checkdowns and understands the progressions, they can exploit that. Now, you exploit it for 4 yards, and then on second down, you exploit it for 5 yards, and then you're 3rd and 1, okay? And you just keep doing that over and over again. And they didn't understand that. They didn't know how to switch it over. If you guys watch the documentary on that Super Bowl, you hear one of the coaches say something to Patrick, and he says, "You guys keep calling it, and I'll keep throwing it." Well, no, that was clearly the problem. They know what you're doing. They don't care. They want you to keep doing this. They want you to keep running around. They want you to keep throwing it. That's what they want. Switch it. Switch it. Change everything. Go back and look at the tape, guys. You can see that when Patrick was trying to make all these plays and try to get 30 yards in one play, there was a guy wide open in the flat. Easily 7-yard pickup right there. Easily. Just boom, boom, boom. Just keep doing that. Do you guys remember any bombs? Do you guys remember anything that was like, holy shit, look at that, in the comeback with the Patriots and the Falcons? There wasn't any. Tom's like, okay, they're giving us stuff here. Like, they're just letting me have it. Sideline, boom, boom, comebacks on sidelines, over and over and over and over. They're just giving them to me. Okay, cool, I'll take it. I'll take it all day long. Patrick didn't know how to switch over to doing that. And that's what has to happen now. If you get Patrick, if Alex, like I'm saying, if you had an Alex Smith that was there right now with this, the way that as good as the defense is playing, I think they're okay. I think they're probably, they might even be the same. So what I'm saying is, imagine a quarterback that can be like Patrick in the sense that he can evade things and throw it deep and make all these crazy plays, right? What if you had a guy that could do that when he needed to, but you also had a guy that could be like Alex when he needed to be, that could completely change the style of the game? That's a scary fucking quarterback right there. Okay? That is a team that is going to be very difficult to beat. And if you have a quarterback that can be whatever you need him to be, depending on who your opponent is, that's how you're going to dominate for forever, for the length of time that you and your coach are together. That's how it works. Because that's what Brady and Belichick did. They were able to become whatever they needed to become, whoever they were playing that week. Hey, Tom, I need you to be Dan Marino this week. Okay. I'll throw for 400, 500 yards. I don't give a fuck. You want 5 touchdowns? Okay, cool. We'll do that. Hey, Tom, this week, this team's a bit different. We're going to need you to hand the ball off and throw the ball. We're going to need some short slants. We're going to need things like that out of you. Okay, no problem. Running back's probably going to have 3 touchdowns. Yeah, that's fine. I don't give a fuck. You need a guy that can do that. You need a guy that can turn it on either way you need him. And imagine a Patrick Mahomes that could do that. So, wow. Yeah, but Mac Jones did get benched in the bye week. Dak Prescott has some awful wide receivers, but he's doing just fine. There's no excuses. Exactly. No excuses. Yeah, and he still has Travis Kelce. Yep. I think people are overstating how much trouble they're in. I think people are just used to these, the Chiefs used to these crazy plays and all this stuff, and they're not happy, and everyone's in shock. But I don't see that. The AFC is who in the AFC is going to compete with them? I mean, the AFC has lost all its quarterbacks, really. I mean, who's left? The Jets aren't a threat that they would have been had they had Aaron Rodgers. The Browns aren't a threat anymore. They lost Deshaun Watson, and their backup quarterbacks are trash. Joe Burrow, the guy who has a history of at least being able to compete with the Chiefs, he's gone. Josh Allen and the Bills are not really what we expected from them. They're kind of on their way out, it looks like. Who is there? There's nobody in the AFC. I mean, it's the Chiefs. In a legit game, in a fair game, I think the Chiefs get beaten by just about anybody coming out of the NFC right now. So, but as far as getting there, that I don't see how they can't get there. even with the situation that they have in. And I don't know. People are overreacting. Yeah, Austin Thomas, exactly. So Chiefs offense is trying to play to their old identity of flashy downfield plays when their personnel is screaming medium passing game with strong run game. Yes, it's yeah, it's a strange thing, isn't it? Sorry, guys. I'm just going to catch up with what you guys were saying. I didn't realize I was talking for so long. Yegar, what's up, man? It's okay. You're here. That's all that matters. Make sure to click the like button while you're here. Thank you so much. And subscribe if you're new here. But if you are subscribed, guys, make sure the bell icon is solid color, because if it's not, you're not going to get notified. Yeah, by the way, Austin, because you're talking about that, people have to stop calling the Eagles quarterback sneak the tush push. That is the fucking gayest shit I've ever heard. It is the stupidest, pathetic name for a play that I've ever heard. And I cannot believe that grown-ass fucking men on television are calling this that. It is awful. It's horrible. This stupid-ass name. It's a quarterback fucking sneak, okay? That's what it is. And you just have the line behind them. Or the guys behind them. It's not a big deal. It's just find a different name for it, please. Yegar Tharn says, Tom was winning Super Bowls with Troy Brown and Deion Branch and was putting up elite passing numbers. Austin Thomas says, Tom throwing to Hogan and Bennett with Gronk and Edelman. Tom throwing to Hogan and Bennett with Gronk and Edelman hurt in the playoffs. Right, Tom had Hogan putting up prime Julio stats in the playoffs. Yeah, that happened in the championship game. So, as well, you guys remember in 2016, Hogan had the same numbers against the Steelers as Julio had against the Packers on the opposite side. And that was another year that we should have had Tom versus Aaron Rodgers. So, we were supposed to get it in 2014, and they blew it. And in 2016, they blew it. Again, it's ridiculous. Yegor Tharn says, the game manager phase of Tom's career is a myth. The game was different in 01 to 06 on top of having non-elite receiving core. Yeah, I'd say 01 is probably the only outlier, the one that is where, and by the way, I don't know if that was in response to what I was saying earlier. I just want to be clear. I'm talking about style of play. I'm not talking about his performance or whatever. I'm talking about style. So in 2001, it was very obvious that they needed a quarterback who wasn't a fuck up, okay? And while Drew Bledsoe was a great quarterback, he was very good player, he had a tendency to fuck up. He had a tendency to throw stupid interceptions, fumble the shit at the wrong times. You guys know that. You needed a guy that come in and just not screw it up. And if you can make some plays, if you can do what you need to do, not freak out when the time came, that's fantastic. That's what Tom was able to do. And that's when I brought that up, what I'm talking about is being able to be whatever you need to be. Be the guy that the team needs you to be and the design of the team needs you to be. Even if Tom wanted to go out there and sling it, who the fuck is he throwing to? Like, who's going to be able to do that? You know? So it's just that was the style, and that's what was required. People don't understand. They only look at stat sheets. They only look at numbers. They don't understand importance, timing, okay, all those things. That Super Bowl, the end of that game, I cannot think of a team that wouldn't have just downed the ball and gone into overtime in that situation. New quarterback, maybe if it was the Colts, they'd probably let Peyton try to get in field goal range. But in their situation with a new quarterback who was a 6th rounder, like just out of nowhere, you're not going to let him sit there and go down the field like that. You're not going to trust him to do that. That's crazy to do that. And he did it. What he did under that pressure and not fucking it up, that is more important and better than anything of a quarterback slinging the ball the whole game, like, you know, having like 3 passing touchdowns, and yet you still fuck up at the end there, and then you lose the game because you fucked up, because you gave the Rams the ball back or whatever. Let's say if the game was a bit different. Let's say the Rams had scored a lot or scored a little more. So all people do is they look at the stat sheet. They don't look at what was required, what the game was like, and what the circumstances were. That's where you lose people very quickly, and they fall off because they don't like doing that. They like to just look at pure numbers and not where they were and when they occurred and all those different things. It's like a guy who's playing great the whole game and then just, you know, fucks up or something, and you're just like, man, you'll just always remember that fuck up, and you won't remember all the good he did during the game, you know. And people, it's funny how that works, but. I've never seen a group as bad as the 2019 group for Tom. That it was horrible. I'm not even talking about player names on paper or anything like that. I'm talking about the performance, the inability to do anything right. Like, they just flat out sucked. It was annoying. And there's been some bad ones. Yeah, Austin, what you're I didn't say that he does play like Tom or Peyton. I'm saying that he's going to need to start adding that to his game, that type of style. Even Brett Favre had to do that. As Brett Favre got older, he started learning. Brett will tell you this. He's mentioned it many times, how he realized, I can't just rely on my arm only. I've got to start learning how, everything that's going on around me and what the defense is doing and what they plan and what they're planning and understand the game better. And he went all those years without doing that. That was just all pure. All those years, the first, 14 years of his career, he was just relying on pure talent and arm talent and physical gifts, and that catches up with you eventually, and you're going to have to change. And I'm saying, no, he doesn't. Patrick doesn't have to do that, and he can still play well for a while. But if he wants to dominate, if he wants to keep winning, if he wants to win a bunch of Super Bowls, a bunch more, then he's going to have that added to his game. He can't even read basic defenses. Like, he fucks up on some of the weirdest stuff, and he relies strictly on physical ability to bail him out, and a lot of times it doesn't work, and it catches up with him quickly. So I'm saying, imagine if he could just flip it. Imagine if he could just be Alex, if he could be Tom, just flip it real fast when he needed it. Imagine how that would work. It would be crazy. So Ace says Mahomes struggles reading basic cover 2. He does sometimes. I've seen it. Yeah, I agree with Austin here. Rodgers plays conservative to a fault. He'll lose games to not throw 50-50 balls. Yeah, so I've seen Aaron. I've watched Aaron actually to his own detriment. He's so worried about his stats. That's why he's got a good touchdown-interception ratio. But he doesn't take risk, and those things don't end up translating to big wins and big important things. I've seen it cost him 1,000 times. It costed him in 2014. Russell Wilson threw 5 interceptions, and you had that game was yours, but he wasn't willing to do what mattered and what it took. He's just way too safe. He's fine in the regular season, but even in the regular season, sometimes he won't take the risk. But it has come back to bite his ass plenty of times. You know, we've seen guys like Brady and Peyton and other, Drew Brees even, in playoff games make these throws. Matt Ryan did it too. Make these throws that are just like, what the fuck? Like, that was insane. Like, if that pass wasn't perfect, it was picked off, but they did it, and that happened to be the pass that changed everything. That happened to be the one that kept everything alive, and made those. And Aaron doesn't seem to be the guy who typically wants to do those things. He does. He plays it safe. He'll throw sideline throws that basically the sideline is a safe area, because if your guy doesn't catch it, it's going to be broken up, or it's going to go out of bounds or something like that. So, but yeah, I agree there that he is at times been not willing to put everything on the line and do what it takes. Yagar says, I still think the O-line excuse for the Chiefs in 2020 is hilarious. Most of those guys were out before they met Tampa in the season. Yeah, and it is ridiculous, and you don't even have to get into the details. Here's why it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous because everybody has injuries. Everybody's hurting, okay? Everybody is got something going on. Everybody's got something wrong. Nobody's 100%. By the time you get to the Super Bowl, everybody's fucked up, okay? I don't want to hear it. If you're out there, you're out there. If you're not out there, then your other guy needs to perform. Rob Gronkowski, the best player on the Patriots. We're not counting Tom Brady, of course. The best, but because this is in reference to Tom. So Tom's best player wasn't out there when he needed him in 2016. And they still won the fucking thing. Okay, they win the whole thing. All right? 2017, no Julian Edelman. And Tom sets a record for the best quarterback performance in the Super Bowl. Okay, no Julian Edelman. I don't give a fuck, okay, about your injury things and your injury excuses. All right. If you are who you say you are, if you are who everyone says you are, putting up 9 fucking points in the Super Bowl is unacceptable. I don't give a shit. I don't care. By the way, Andy Reid is the one that shifted all of the offensive line around instead of just trying to plug one guy here, one guy there. He tried to shift everything over, and it just was a complete fucking disaster. That's also part of the game, okay? That's decision making. But again, that's why I say if Alex was the quarterback, it wouldn't have been as problematic, right? So it's also on Patrick to have to understand where to go with the ball and understand how to get rid of the ball and know what he's doing, right? And know how to audible, know when to switch, seeing what he sees and changing it. So you got to be able to do that. It's not just that. Everybody has injuries. Everybody has problems. It's just how it is. By the way, in that 2017 Super Bowl that I was talking about with Tom where he didn't have Edelman, he also lost Brandon Cooks very early on. So he didn't even have that. Tom was out there by himself. He was out there fucking alone. The defense was shit. Okay, Bill Belichick had abandoned him. It was very obvious. There was nobody out there. Okay? And he still threw for 505 fucking yards, dude. Come on. Don't. You got to make shit work. You just got to. No amount of 31. No amount of O-line bullshit can account for losing 31-9, right? So, like you're saying. Couldn't even get into the end zone. Oh, we got a super chat on Patreon from John Thomas Chavez. Let me grab this real quick. John Thomas Chavez on Patreon says, the night before or the morning of Super Bowl 49, New England reportedly threw out their game plan and decided they'd beat Seattle's Legion of Boom by 1,000 paper cuts. Okay, so why were they able to do that? Why was that an option, John? How come that's an option? How come they can just decide to do that all of a sudden? Exactly. It's exactly what I've been saying. '06 was pretty bad, but I still think 19 was the worst. It's just that was just some bad football, man. Yeah, Kevin Godnett says 06 maybe talent-wise, like I was saying earlier, maybe on paper, 2019 wasn't the worst, but the results and what you saw, what they did on the field was just absolutely pathetic. It was awful. Austin, I'm not saying that Patrick should change his game. I'm saying he should add to his game. I don't know if I was making that one clear or not. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I said the word change. I didn't mean change his game. I meant, if I did say the word change, I meant change his game in the game, like during the game, not his game overall. He shouldn't just change his game. That's ridiculous. Like, I'm saying add, but he needs to add to it. So when he's in a game and he's in a bad situation where the normal stuff isn't working, or the opponent is built to stop your normal shit, you can change your game in the game. That's what I'm referring to. So he just needs to add to that. He needs to work on that and get better at it. So imagine how crazy that would be if they could just switch like that. I'm just catching up. For those of y'all just listening, I'm just catching up with the message board because I went on a long rant a while ago. Austin, yeah, I'm liking CJ Stroud so far. I like what I see. So let's hope that can keep going, and maybe they can put it together next year, and we'll see what they have. I don't think this year is going to be they're going to be able to. I think it's too late. I think it's too late for them right now to actually put it together and be a formidable opponent to anybody in the AFC. But next year, I think they've got something there. He's got something. So. Did you guys happen to catch an interview with Tom by Stephen A. Smith? Did you guys see that? That was pretty interesting. So, Tom said something in that interview that people are making a big deal out of and everything, but it's not something that he hasn't said before. He's actually said this before, but for some reason, this one people were making a big deal out of it. But he said that football, the product in the NFL right now is mediocre. Okay, it's he says he sees a lot of mediocrity out there. And again, he's said this before, and he's talking about the last few years. So that includes, when he was playing. So it's not like he's doing this whole, back in my day kind of shit. He literally is part of what he's talking about. Like, he was playing in the league. So he's got credibility here for this. And he's absolutely correct. We have been, on this channel, I know for a fact, and you guys have been saying as well, that this has been a problem for years. It started to get really, really bad around, I'd say 2018, 2019, something like that. It just fucking just got out of hand, like ridiculously out of hand, where it was, what the hell is going on here? You can't do anything. And I told you guys, now, originally in the collective bargaining agreement back in 2011 that was agreed upon, that took effect in 2012, I think it was 2012, had some conditions in there that I said was going to hurt the product. It was going to hurt football. And it did. It had some practice limitations and things like that. And I said, well, that's ridiculous. That's not going to help. But then the new collective bargaining agreement, the one that just recently happened, is the one that really just fucked everything up. So here's what you did. Here's what you did to the product just in the last few years. And these are some of the reasons why Tom is saying what he's saying. You can't practice with the guys like you used to be able to. You can't push them. You cannot get them ready for game day like you used to be able to. In the past, practice was generally harder than what you were going to face on game day. So the game was perfect and looked great. The product was great because you had already dealt with this shit during the week. Now you can't do that as much. The preseason is a joke. Okay, so you've only got 3 preseason games. The preseason is not for the fucking fans. All right, it's not for ticket sales. It's not for the owners. Preseason is for the players and the coaches. That's what it's for. Preseason is there so the regular product doesn't look like shit. Okay, and everybody, the teams know who their guys are and who's not. Okay, that is for them. It's never been about us. But the owners want to make it about us, and they want to make it about ticket sales. They want to make it about money, so they add a regular season game and take away one of our preseason games, which is completely stupid and not necessary. So take away a preseason game, and even the preseason is not that good because the training camps are weak. They're not as intense as they used to be. This and the rules. So the more rules you have, like Tom was talking about, these rules can lead to sloppy habits and sloppy play. And Tom brought up a part like where it's on the defense to not hit a guy or wide receiver. Okay, well, isn't it on the quarterback to not get his receiver's head knocked off? Isn't it also on the quarterback to make sure that you protect your guy? Isn't that also a consideration? No, it's not anymore. So they just keep pushing this. And what they used to do is that when they would add a rule in, it would be a balance with how the athletes have got faster and schemes have changed and things change. So the rules kind of adjust for that. And you make these adjustments as time goes on. And that way you keep a balance, right? The problem lately is that with the union agreements and stuff, this has caused everything to be out of whack. So that at the same time as the league is all about, they don't want to be sued, they don't want to get in trouble, blah, blah, blah. They don't want all these problems, so they have all these stupid rules implemented. When you've got all this happening at the same time and there's no balance, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get this sloppy bullshit. So it sucks. But Tom is not saying anything new that we've not heard or we've not said before, because Tom fucking said it himself. He said this years ago. He was saying this years ago that him and Breeze and some other quarterbacks were unhappy with the situation, but they would take it and use it. Tom was doing an interview with his other Bucs teammates back when he got there, and he was saying this. He was sitting there with his other players, and I can't remember who the defensive player was sitting next to him, but he was like, "Thanks, man. Thanks for saying that, because it's true. That it should be the quarterback's responsibility as well to not get your receiver, assassinated." And I remember Peyton Manning used to do this shit all the time. He used to throw to guys just to make that throw, and he would get them just lit up. And I was like, oh fuck, man! Like, what are you doing? And no quarterback's perfect. There's never going to be there's always going to be a time where your guys are going to get popped. Sometimes you're going to have to allow it, like in the Super Bowl or something like that. You're going to have to deal with it. But throughout the course of a season, regular season, you've got to be able to kind of know what you're doing there as a quarterback. And he's also talking about college. Now, I cannot speak to what they're doing in college the way Tom can speak to that. So, but I definitely take his word for it and trust that he knows what he's saying. But he's saying that in college that they're not really doing their jobs anymore. They're not teaching these kids properly. They're not the players not being developed by a program anymore. It's like too many things changing. It's all about the players, the attention they get for themselves and all that as well, which I definitely have seen that. But these guys come out of college and into the NFL and they really just aren't prepared mentally. So more than they were in the past. So these things are causing the product on the field not to be as good. So it's a lot of different things, actually. Another thing I think is a problem. I don't think it's as big of a problem, but it's not helping. Is that every coach now wants to be friends with the players. They want to be the hip, cool. It's like the parent who tries to be the hip and cool parent and all this shit instead of actually being the parent. You try to be the friend and only the friend. It's okay to be a player-friendly coach, but it's not okay to be a friend instead of a coach. And a lot of these coaches are trying to do that, and I think that also leads to players not taking things as seriously. So it's a lot of different stuff. But everything Tom said is absolutely correct, and I don't even know how they fix something like this, because this is something that's been allowed to fester and happen for a long period of time, and you can't just reverse it like that. It's got to be a process. So who knows? Hey, what's up, Dad? Kevin Godnet says, Von Allen Sports, no one talks about Peyton doing that. I always thought he did that to teach them a lesson, running the wrong route, doubting him, etc. No, Peyton did that because he just wanted to make the throw, and that was important to him, and that was more important than his guy. That was one thing that you can ding Peyton for. It was that he would throw to a guy and get his head knocked off. Yeah, Yager says the best leaders are rarely the guys you want to have a beer with. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's not the situation. You have to keep a certain space between you and the players. There's a line that you're not supposed to cross. It's bad for discipline, it's bad for focus, it's bad for teaching things. Yes, it works sometimes. There's always outliers, but for the most part, I think it's gone too far. It's gone too far the other side, and there's way too many doing that. Like, when I've mentioned this stuff in the past, people say, "What about Pete Carroll?" Pete Carroll. Okay, Pete Carroll. That works in college, I guess, to a certain extent. Maybe it does. I don't know. I'm not going to speak to college. I don't really give a shit. But in the NFL, it wasn't working for him until he had the Legion of Boom, and then that worked, but in a very short amount of time. But he quickly lost the team immediately after that. So all of a sudden being friendly didn't work, and all of a sudden being their friends didn't work. That fell apart. So I don't know. So there's your outlier, but it was very, very short-lived. I think a more hardcore coach probably could have kept that team together. Probably could have. I think Belichick could have made that mistake that Pete Carroll did. Belichick, if we flip it and Belichick could have done that, I don't think Belichick loses his team. I don't think he loses the locker room like Carroll did. I think Belichick would go in that night or the next day in the Monday meeting after the Super Bowl and say, listen, I did what I thought was best, blah, 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 whatever. That's it. I'm not going to apologize for it. And that's the end of it. And nobody talks about it anymore and nobody cares. And that's the end of it. And then the next season starts and boom, move on. Okay? This clearly was proven by the 2017 Super Bowl where he completely blew that Super Bowl. And 2018, they come back and they win the Super Bowl. So they moved on. Things got moved on. So I just think that you've got to keep a distance, a certain distance. So. I try to tell people it's when it comes to things that you need that are about success or about winning and things like that, you got to it's not about who you like as a person or who you want to hang out with or whatever. It's about who is actually the best at that job. You know, when you pick a doctor, I don't care if my doctor is a nice guy. I don't care if he tells jokes or not. I don't care if he's a jerk. Honestly, none of that matters to me. All I want to know is, am I going to survive? Are you going to keep me alive? Are you going to do a good job? Are you going to help me? I don't care about the rest of it. And that's what you really want. That's what you really want in a leader. If I'm out in the battlefield, if I'm in a war, I don't care if I like the guy or not. I just need to know, do I trust him? And is he legit? And that's really it. So. Oh, that's true, Austin. That's true. That's true. It is important. It is important. Yeah, but see, if your doctor doesn't know what a woman is, that might be an indicator of performance ability. That might actually be a problem. So, yeah. Yeah, I think I've told the story before, but this was like a decade ago. Milena's mother had this type of cancer in her lungs that was inoperable. So we went to two or three different doctors that told us that she needed to go home and say goodbye to her family and that she was going to pass away and all this stuff. And Milena wouldn't take that for an answer. She refused. So we found this next doctor. Went to his office, and I remember I was sitting in the waiting room observing him talking to his employees, and he was just an asshole. Like, just his demeanor was very arrogant and very. I was just like, wow, this guy's kind of an ass. And then we go in waiting for him. And then we're in his office, and we're waiting for him to come in the office, and I'm telling Milena, it's like, I saw him out there. He doesn't seem like a good dude. I don't know if he's going to help us. And he comes in, and same attitude, not friendly at all. throws down his folder or whatever and says, when do you want to do the surgery? Just like that. When do you want to do the surgery? What? What do you mean? You mean you can fix this? He goes, yeah. When you want to do it? Here's my schedule. What do you think? Like, what? Oh, yeah. I have a way I do it. It's different. You use some kind of laser or something. Wait a minute. All these other doctors in Los Angeles told us that she was going to die and couldn't be operable. And he's like, well, I can do it. This guy was just oozing out arrogance. I mean, oh my gosh, this guy was just insufferable. You would not want to hang out with this guy. Like, he was just a total jerk. But he knew what he was doing. And he knew his stuff. And guess what? Obviously, he did his job because Milena's mom is still alive. And this was back in 2012 or something like that. So, there you go. All right? And that's what you need. That's how you should vote for president. That's how you should vote for anybody who is leading something that you need. It doesn't mean you vote for an asshole or just because of that. It means don't let that become a deterrent. That should not be a factor. So if your coach is an asshole, well, is he good? Okay? Now, if he's not a good coach and an asshole, well, that's a problem, right? But if he's a good coach and he's an asshole, don't let the fact that he's a jerk all of a sudden be the reason why, you're not going to listen or you're not going to do what you're supposed to do. So for me, it's about performance. It's about ability. It's about what you can get done. Because if I'm a football player, I want to win. And I don't care how we do it. Let's just win. And that's it. Alcohol? I don't drink alcohol either. Not because have something against it or whatever. I just don't like it, actually. It's just not. It just doesn't interest me. It's like smoking. I don't smoke either, really. Occasionally I'll smoke like a clove cigarette or something for fun. But I'm not like a smoker, I don't. Yeah, it's just, but I don't. The only thing I don't like is people who drive drunk, obviously, and become sloppy drunks and stuff like that. But if you're just having a drink, like with your dinner, or a fun night out or whatever, that's cool. I don't have a problem with that. It's the people that get drunk and, start causing problems. That's what I don't like. So. Okay, so there's not as many games this weekend because of the Thanksgiving week, of course. So let me pull them up here real quick. Well, alcohol is poison, Alpha Courage. You're literally poisoning your brain when you do that. That's what causes the drunk effect. That's what causes you to feel that's what gives you that vibe, that screwed up feeling that people get from it. Okay. All right. So we have, by the way, Detroit was an 8.5 point favorite in that game. They just absolutely screwed that up. Dallas was a 13 point favorite. They got the job done. San Francisco was 7, and Miami was 9.5 over the Jets. So those games are out of the way. Jacksonville at Houston. I'm going Houston here. Although Jacksonville is a 1.5 point favorite. Pittsburgh at Cincinnati. So Pittsburgh, they just fired their offensive coordinator. something had to happen. I mean, their offense can't get it done. Imagine the Steelers if they had a good quarterback right now, like how well they would be. So maybe the new coordinator can get something out of Pickett and get the offense moving. Cincinnati without Joe Burrow, this is too easy. I'm going Pittsburgh. Tennessee versus Carolina. Tennessee's crap. Carolina, I think, are probably just trying to get a pick or something out of this. So I think Tennessee's going to win that. New Orleans at Atlanta. I'm going to go New Orleans here. Indianapolis versus the Bucks. I actually think the Bucks are going to win this one. New England at New York Giants. Oh, God. Yay. What a matchup. Yuck. I don't think the Patriots are going to lose this one, guys. I just don't. I mean, they can beat the Giants. I don't know. Can they? Hang on. All right. Hang on, I'm just checking something real quick. Okay, right now the Patriots are the worst team in the conference. It is in New York. Now, the betting lines have them as a 4-point favorite at New York. Crap. I'm going to go Giants. I'm changing my pick. I think the Giants are going to win. Damn it. Denver versus Cleveland. Ooh. Okay. Are we... How we feel about Russell Wilson and Sean Payton? Are people getting kind of like thinking that, oh, they're back or not? I did a poll and it was 50-50 basically. People were split on that. Are they back or not? We need to know that because Cleveland has pretty good defense and but they have some garbage backup quarterbacks. So I think it's a winnable game for Denver. I'm going to go Denver here. LA Rams at Arizona. This is funny. I'm actually going to go with the Cardinals. I think Football Baby is going to get the upset here. So probably going to be a high-scoring game, though. Very high-scoring. Philadelphia versus Buffalo Bills. This is a good one. I don't know why this is not prime time. For some reason, they decided to give us Minnesota versus Chicago on Monday Night Football. No offense, Kevin Godnett, but that's not a good matchup. That's not a fun matchup. So Philadelphia versus Buffalo. Philadelphia is the best team in the league, if not one of the best in the league, but they're probably considered the best right now. I still think, well, there's Baltimore. I forgot about Baltimore earlier when I was talking about the AFC, who could challenge the Chiefs. Baltimore could, but we've seen what Lamar Jackson does in the playoffs. He seems to lose his composure and not be able to perform as well. But they are a great team. And you also have San Francisco, who had a hiccup, a few weeks back, but I don't think it's going to be that bad for them. So Philadelphia versus Buffalo. I'm going Philadelphia here, actually. Kansas City at Las Vegas, Chiefs. Baltimore at LA Chargers, Baltimore, yeah. Minnesota versus Chicago, I'm actually going Bears. So there you have it. There you have it. By the way, I had a good week last week. Good week before, I think. I think it was the week before, yeah. So doing pretty good. There you go. That Cleveland game, let's see. Yeah, so the Browns are 7-3, but again, if they had Watson, I'd definitely go them. But well, maybe I might still go Denver, because this is in Denver. It's Denver is a weird place to play for teams and stuff like that. What's up, Milena? Welcome home.
Thank you.
In my opinion, if the Browns put in the GOAT, the true GOAT, Joe Flacco, then I would say they're Super Bowl favorites. So nobody could stop the Browns led by Joe Flacco. It's a joke. Of course it's a joke.
Joe Flacco?
All right. So there you go. There's your picks, guys. All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys being here with me tonight. I hope you guys have fun and enjoying watching the games tomorrow. And we will talk very soon. Thank you guys for your super chats. And if you're not a member yet on Patreon, please join. The link is at the top of the chat there, pinned to the top. And get ready for our next contest. And good luck to John Thomas Chavez, who has Lamar Jackson, versus Elf of Courage, who has Matthew Stafford, in the final Super Bowl for our contest right now. So thank you guys so much. And we will see you. Well, we'll see you soon. Okay? We'll see you all soon. I promise.
Von Allen Sports on Patreon. Fuck you. I'm joining. If you're not watching Von Allen Sports, fuck you.
This is Patriots linebacker, Super Bowl 49 champ, Darius Fleming, and you're watching Von Allen Sports. Real and honest NFL analysis. Subscribe now.
Hi, this is tennis player Mariana Dragic, and you're watching Von Allen Sports, real and honest sports analysis. Subscribe now and join the empire. Von Allen Sports, let's go!
Sports.